This is the Guild SMP world where I spent over 1000 days building and having fun with my friends. And today I want to take you on a lovely server tour of all the bases and secret places. Let's get started. And it all starts here at the world spawn where the guild house is. This was the house where we had all our guild points so we could see who's gonna win. Spoiler alert, I lost. And that build has always been there since the beginning of the SMP, but I actually built this house together with Infinite Drift. And it's one of the biggest houses that I've ever made, and I think I'm kind of proud of it. It looks really cool in cottagecore. And over here we actually have a map of the entire server, so you can see there are a lot of different kinds of bases that people made. And another fun thing that is located at the world spawn is this sword thing over here. Every time we completed a guild task, we got to select a reward, so we just pressed the button and got something. Oh, I just got a totem. But next to giving us rewards, this sword also had a little secret. In the very beginning, before the SMP started, me and Drift built this house. We also decorated this area and also made this sword, and I was bored, so I made something hidden under the sword. Basically, this water stream is actually a water elevator that will take you down into a secret room. So there are basically a bunch of weird little rooms decorated with new paintings and skeleton stuff. And then through here is another room, and I think Drift and Maggie, I don't even know, somebody was here during a stream. And I don't even know what that means. Are you good or bad E? May E find out. I got red dye. I don't know what that means, but I think it means I'm bad. I'm a bad E. I don't know what that means. Also, I think when I built this, it was kind of the idea to have like a weird underground server room for like the people who made the server, like Brooke and Drift. And this is their bedroom. And there's a secret door leading through another passage, and it says Brian. Yeah, I don't know. It's like weird hidden server lore that doesn't make any sense. But when we leave the world spawn, we actually come to the shopping area, and there are so many cool different kinds of builds. And there are some secrets within the shopping district, because if we go in Drift shop over here, there's a little scam at the top, because you have to pay 1 diamond to pull the lever, and all it does is just turn the light on and off. But then Maggie's mud shop also has a little secret, because in here is a little ladder leading downstairs to a secret place. And it's actually a super spooky black market selling shulker boxes. I wish I had known that sooner when the SMP was still going on. I stole my shulker boxes from Drift when she died in hardcore mode. Never mind. And then we also have my 2 shops over here. This one was like a variety kind of shop selling a bunch of random stuff because I didn't know what to sell, and I never stocked my shop because I was lazy. But this is a really cool build that I'm very proud of. And then we also have my House of Bravery, where I added some random tasks for people to do. So I told them to do random weird stuff, and then they would get a reward, like a cool person hot tub access as a reward. And the hot tub is over here, and it's not really a hot tub. I originally wanted to put lava in there, but then I asked Drift to do it and she was lazy. I just put a bunch of blocks in there and made it look like lava, which was kind of creative, but she was scared to go to the nether, I know it. There are so many cool different kinds of shops in the area, and this is kind of turned into a really nice colorful street. But when you go to the end of the road, there's a nice big building over here, the art gallery that I built with Drift. And this is one of my favorite projects on the server, because when the new update came out with all the new paintings, I knew I just wanted to make an art gallery, and not just so I could display Brooke's head as an art installment. Just ignore that. And I don't think many people know that the paintings actually have a name and a person who made them. But this Enderman that was here knows, because he left the block, stupid Enderman. And I also forgot to show that next to the spawn area is this cool place that we made to display the Ender Dragon egg. And a whole bunch of us just randomly came together, and we had no plans, and we just made this little area. We brought a bunch of resources, and then we just winged it. We even decorated the water, and also this little cliffside with a little baby geode that Maggie made. It's so cute. And this place looks so cool from far away. Look at this giant terraformed area. Oh, and also another thing I forgot to show. We also got this tiny house next to the giant guild house, which was also a guild, the Guild of Losers. And I made this together with Amber. And it was so funny we made this because we said we're so bad at the game and that we're never gonna win or survive in hardcore mode. And like right after we made this, Amber actually just like died from her elytra breaking somewhere. It was super tragic, but also it was so funny because of the timing. Speaking of death in hardcore mode, This is the grave area. So all the people that died before the last guild day have been buried here. Not actually though, that would be creepy. So we have Knives who died falling. We have Amber who also died flying. This is so tragic and funny. Madison who died to a shulker. Red who died in a raid, which I witnessed and it was awful. And Drift who also died in the same raid and it was also really awful. But the rest of us survived to the end. But super sad and hilarious hardcore deaths aside, let's follow this path that Red made over to our base because me and Red actually shared a base together. And it was basically this entire island and we built all over it. So when we go through here, this is the heart of the base. This is where our starter houses are. So over here is Red's starter house and this is my starter tent house kind of thing. And when I made this house, I kind of wanted to have a Girl Scout tent cozy camping life kind of thing. And I had a lot of space in my tent, but I made a huge chest monster over here. So I eventually moved out of this house and moved over into my ship over here, which is one of those builds that I'm really proud of because I went out of my comfort zone, made a really nice big fantasy ship. But the ship doesn't just look cool, it's also functional, and it also has a dog. Hi. Because down here is my giant storage system and Sparkle's head with a bunch of candles. Definitely not some weird shrine, I swear. But I actually tried to be organized in Minecraft for once and it kind of worked out, except the shulker box mess over there. Also moving back to my starter house. I'm terrible at touring this world. This little house has a secret in the floor. It's not there. In the floor! I found it. First try. Because when we go through this really ugly tunnel, we come to a little secret lush cave base that I've made. I actually made this very early on in the world and it actually connects to Red's base because I wanted to prank her. So I made this little hidden place under her greenhouse, which is in her starter house. And she had no idea for like a day until she found it herself. And then she actually made another secret base in this base, which is right here. And I literally didn't find that at all. She had to show it to me. And this is her secret map room and she has a map of the entire server. So we still have a lot of places to visit. But first let me show you some of the other builds on my island. We have Red's little villager house and we have her giant enchanting tower in the sky. Then we have my ugly early game hut where no stinky people are allowed, which I also made on the very first day. Stupid campfire. Don't mind me just casually burning in the background. Then we also have a bunch of brown sheep and a very ethical flower garden, aka cow crusher. Then I also made a little bit of custom birch terrain and a little flower garden with bees and a statue of Red and the axe that killed her in hardcore mode. We also have my animal sanctuary over here with a bunch of animals inside. And this house literally took like 15 minutes to build, but making all this landscape around it took like 5 hours. So sometimes building can be kind of fast, but transforming landscape can actually take ages. And while I was on the server, I was also in my prank era, and so I made this berry bush farm and then placed berry bushes all around people's bases. And people were really annoyed, and one of them was Moon, and she and Maggie placed a giant jam jar monster over my house. But I kind of started it because I berry bushed her base, then she placed sunflowers in my base, and then I built a sunflower monster in her base. We're gonna visit that guy later. And this berry bush farm actually has a bunch of secrets because I originally built this as a hide and seek arena. So behind this giant barrel is a secret entrance down here, leading to a secret room where you can sit and just chill. And then behind the building we have ladders going up, and then you can open the trapdoors on the roof and fall down and just hide up here in a secret attic. And I tried out a lot of weird build styles on this house with this roof out of full blocks and not stairs, and then having a bunch of random stony and mossy blocks and campfires for some reason. But even though it's a weird mix, it actually works out really nicely. Sort of, kind of, maybe, potentially. Another weird thing I did is this little building here at the bottom. I built this out of bricks and I also added in the pods. Those are those weird big giant pods, the decorated pods, and they kind of look like little wall pieces that have some tiny little holes so you can peek through it. But this berry bush farm also has another big secret, because in this little water cauldron thing here is a secret water elevator down to my real secret base. And right now it's just a big trial chamber copper room and a room for my dogs where all of the dogs sit in little houses. I think when I built this, I thought I'd had more time on the server to expand the space and build a giant underground secret base network, but then I kind of ran out of time. So now we just have a tiny little secret base, but I think it's a really cool Easter egg on the server. But now why don't we move on from my base to other people's builds? And we already have one right over there. And I've actually made a path connecting my base to Trash Panda's base over here. And she went with a nice hobbit hole in the mountain theme, and it looks really cool. She also has a lovely decorated pond over here, and then a staircase leading up to all the different platforms, and her head on a wall, because why not? And inside there are so many cute little decorations, like her first diamond and pickaxe, and her little bed, and another head. And every room has something functional, like a storage or a farm. And I love these kinds of builds where you have to go into different decorated rooms to get what you want, like smelt stuff or get your items. And the best part about living high up is the view. Look, I can see mine and Red's base from over here. I can also see the prank that I pulled on Trash, because I built her a giant raccoon statue. And I also brought trash. Like literally, I built a dumpster here because her name is Trash Panda, so I brought a trash panda and some trash. That spells lol. Definitely wasn't my prank era. But I think this was a really cool approach to a Minecraft base, building it all within a mountain. But now let's follow this path leading to Madison's base, because she lives just next door. And she has a really cool magical base within the spruce forest. And she went for a really cool block palette with the deep slate, the calcite, and then the copper on the roof. I've actually visited this place a bunch of times on the server, because when Madison died to a shulker, I stole from her a bunch of times because she had all of the cool stuff from the nether. Yeah, it was horrible. And now let's fly over and look at Drift's base. And on our way there, we're gonna pass this little campsite that we made on the very last day. Ow. Every one of us just built a little tent without planning anything. And this was my tent over here. It's very simple, but I think it's kind of cute. Ow! And I also placed the berry bushes everywhere. Everybody was annoyed. And when we fly through here, we come up to Drift's base, and she has a giant prank in her base. Everybody was just pranking on this SMP. Also, this is Drift's storage, a place where I constantly went to steal her stuff when she died in hardcore mode. And above her storage, she has this little museum of the guild tasks and important items. So the first guild task she did was get a sniffer egg. Then she looked at a ghast with a spyglass. Then she went to the end and killed the dragon. Then she built a shop in the shopping district. Oh, with her scam lamp. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize she put that here. And then she did the trial chamber, and then she did an axolotl army kind of thing. And the last ones are missing because she never completed the others, because she died in the raid. And I've actually made her a little shield for the trial chamber with a little sunrise over a mountain. And she actually displayed this in her museum, which I think is super cute. And I think her base is actually super cute. There's so many little builds, and she built so many things. And I really love the build style that she went for this SMP. Also, the little details are so cool. Look at this little wagon transporting stone. And then this little nether portal area with her enchanting table is so good. Also, her head is there. I'm scared. Let's leave. And if I hadn't seen this, I would have forgotten to show this off. This is our little minigame area where we hosted a festival and had a big party. There were so many different kinds of games that we got to try out, and they were so much fun. And I think my favorite was Brooke's Easter egg hunt. And it wasn't just funny because it wasn't Easter when we played this, because she hid eggs all over the server and we had to hunt them the fastest, and it was so much fun to just run around the server and look through everybody's bases. And I kid you not, throughout the entire SMP I still found so many eggs that nobody had ever found during the hunt. And the game that I made was a hide and seek hotel. I really love playing hide and seek, and I think it's so cool to just play that in Minecraft. So I made a western cottagecore hotel with a bunch of weird hiding places, like a secret basement with a gross toilet room. And just a short fly away, you can see more houses showing up. And over here is Maggie's base. And I just crashed into her base. And just look at this amazing base. I always have a hard time sticking to a block palette, but Maggie definitely does not. And because of that, she was able to create this amazing base where everything goes well together. And I haven't had the opportunity to snoop around her base yet, because I was scared she would see me. But now this is the world download, so she can't catch me snooping around. And Maggie is really good at doing interiors. Like, look at this little decorated room. Wait, and all her builds are connected. This is a little bridge going across into another house. I also just saw this, and this is just peak build genius right there. Look at this. This is like a water pump kind of thing, and she used the glass pane as the water flowing into the pot. And then I got stuck in an unfinished part of a base and almost died. Fun times, but let's move over to Brooke's base, which is right next door. Also, I just found this random building in the woods, and it looks like a Brooke build, but Brooke's base is all the way over there. And this confuses me even more. Who's Katie? What is going on? There wasn't a Katie on the SMP. Hello? This is so suspicious. It's like some secret server lore that I've missed. So now I feel the urge to watch through everybody's videos to see what is going on. But first, let's look at Brooke's base, because she has this really cool giant base. She built so many things. I don't know when people had time to build so many things. It's amazing. And I really love that in the center of her base is this giant flower, and inside is all her storage. And Brooke actually made a dog village within her base, and she has a house for every dog. Oh my gosh, and I also just found her chicken pen. She has so many chickens. That was scary. Let's keep looking at her beautiful little dog village. Look at all the dogs. Oh, there's an upside down house for the upside down dogs. I love that so much. And I really love museum type builds where people document a specific thing they collected in Minecraft. And this house here is a restaurant for all the food in Minecraft, because Brooke did the advancement to eat everything in the game. And usually you don't really realize how many things you can actually eat in the game. There are so many. And then Brooke also made this really cool nether portal with a tree growing sort of around it and a bunch of mushrooms growing out of it. What's also looking really good is this tower she made right here. And inside is actually another map of the server. Everybody's just mapping the server, and I never did it. I think I'm gonna do that next time, because it looks so much fun to just map out the entire area and look at your base from above. And Brooke's base definitely stands out with a big flower. Also, we have another flower themed base over here, and I think we're gonna go there next, because right through here is Moon's and Knife's base. Let's first look at Knife's base, because she made one along this little mountain, and then Moon lives down here. And Knife's made these really cool builds, and I really love how she used lots of darker wood tones like dark oak and spruce, and then added a bunch of lush blocks like all the lush trees and flowers. I think that is such a cool combination. And this is also such a cool idea to have a roof touch the ground like this, like a giant tent, but it's actually a house. And it's actually a stable with all the sheep and cows. This is such a cool little overgrown area. I love this. Oh my gosh, and then here's the greenhouse. I love that those builds aren't just openly visible and kind of hidden behind the trees. Oh my gosh, there are so many bees coming out of their hives. Oh my gosh, the lag. Wait, and there's another build behind that. See, you can't even see that unless you're like flying from above. And now let's fly down into Moon's giant sunflower themed base. She did so much, and she also won the Guild SMP. So she worked so hard to grind out all the advancements. She mined 1 billion diamonds, and she also managed to build this giant beautiful base. And I think a sunflower themed base is just the coolest idea ever, because sunflowers are my favorite kind of flower. And the best part is, this was Moon's starter house, and when she walks out of her door, she just sees this giant creature. This was the sunflower monster prank I talked about earlier. So I built this giant thing in her base, and I built it in a spot where she had planned to build another house. So she just built the house around the creature, which is so funny to me. She didn't remove it, she just put it in the house. I really love this base, but we can't stay here forever. We have more bases to look at. I didn't realize it would take so long to look at everybody's bases. There are so many, but it's also so much fun to see what everybody has built. And this here is Amber's base. This is like peak cottagecore vibes. I love how she's using so many bright colors. And she also built this house with this really cool glass roof. This here is her sheep farm. And I've actually been here a couple times to AFK the wool farm, and it was so good to just have access to all the wool colors. Amber didn't get to expand her base even more because she died so early, but even with just the 2 builds, it's such a beautiful little base. And now let's fly over here because we have one last base to look at, and that's Sparkle's base. She lived in a meadow really high up, and she made a giant staircase leading up the mountain. And her little mountain base has so many cute details and so many cool builds. And I love the effect of how you just go up this giant staircase and then at the top is this beautiful base. And during the first week of the server, me and Red climbed this staircase with our camel and went into her house and looked into all her chests, the things friendly neighbors do. And then I don't know if it was on purpose or accidentally, but I ate a piece of her cake and then I ate a little bit more. And then I just left, and then a couple days later she came on the server. I was like, who ate my cake? And I was so embarrassed, so I was like, oh, it could be a zombie, they can trample cakes. And I didn't think she would believe me, but she did, which was so funny. And then later I confessed to her that it was me and gave her another cake. And then she filled my house with 1 billion cakes, which I definitely deserved. And I think now I've successfully toured everybody's bases. It was so much fun just flying around the server, looking at all the things people have built and remembering the good times we had on the server. It was so much fun playing with all these talented girls on this SMP, and I learned so much from them. And I really hope you have enjoyed this world tour of the Guild SMP. I'll see you all next time. Bye!